when you learn to lose and learn to do it graciously, and then you go on, learn from it, improve, so the next time you don't have the same mistakes. Those are the things that will gain you the success and keep you moving forward in the future and continue to learn and have those additional successes, being able to teach people that come after you and help them when they come after you.
Right. Definitely. Obviously we don't wish failure on anybody, but that is part of that learning process that you have to go through. It makes you stronger, makes you more resilient, so that you do get back up and continue to push forward. Definitely. All right. This one is a tricky one for a lot of people, but how do you maintain a work-life balance while pursuing success in your career or personal endeavors?
There isn't one. Someone that says there's work-life balance, that means they're working for themselves, setting their own hours. Right. But when you're at work, you're at work. When you're at home, you're at home. Well, that's your work-life balance. Yeah. I work practically 12-hour days at this point because of the travel time on top of me working an 8+ hour day. So work-life balance, I've taken that out of my vocabulary. It's like, because I don't see how that's relevant to people anymore. Our society looks at, all they want is instant gratification these days. So they just want all the good, but they don't, a lot of people, the way it's portrayed, at least in the media, people don't want to work for it, right or wrong. If that's a right or wrong statement, people are going to have their own personal feelings for it, but you got to be able to go, and when you're at work, get your job done, do it well, and then move on. Day's over, let the garbage go. Anything that happened at work, you want to go bitch about it, go bitch about it. Find somebody to bitch about it, and then just drop it.
Yeah.
And if it's that bad, well, maybe it's time to make a change. Yeah. And maybe that change is to strike out on your own. So right. That's different for everyone.
Yes, definitely. All right. Have there been moments when you felt successful but weren't recognized for it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I'm sure everybody does throughout their careers. Even I was talking to my son, where he's successful, but he, to a degree with what he's doing, he's working basically at a chain restaurant, and there's no real recognition in a place like that.
Right.
As a young guy in my career as a site super, as a combination site super and project manager, I wasn't recognized for a while. It took one specific project where the owners of the company I was working for to realize that I'll say they had somebody special working for them, and that person was me, because the project manager they brought in for a sensitive project would come into the work site in his loafers, bring in a cup of coffee in a live data center environment, and sit down and throw his feet up in the air. Wasn't talking to any of the trades, wasn't doing nothing. And at the end, the project was 6 months. He was gone after 6 months. They brought him in, and he was gone for one project. Wow. And after that, I got a promotion. So I was finally, I thought I was going to be promoted prior to the project. It took them the project to see that they really did need me for those other details.
Right. That's hard, and a lot of people I know, when they get faced with that, they tend to walk away or quit. But the resilience to stick it out and continue to give them the high quality of work definitely speaks to your character. Definitely. So Um, how do you deal with pressures and expectations that come with striving for success?
What do you mean by pressures?
Um, so any outside pressures, anything that you feel, I guess, responsible for, or is there anything driving you to do it? Do you feel like other people or other things are making you want to do the success other than you
Uh,
personally wanting to?
well, I take a lot of personal responsibility for most everything I do. Almost everything I do. And it's actually been time. There's been times where that's actually been to my detriment because I've taken things so where I've taken ownership of it, and in the end, the higher ups in the company won't allow me to. I didn't get the recognition for taking ownership of it, and I was actually penalized for taking the ownership and trying to make it where it would be a much more positive end. So for a while, I had to really step back and measure a lot of what I was doing and how I was doing it to make sure that it was beneficial, not only beneficial to the company, but that I would separate. It's actually separating it from myself because I was not able to take it personally. So I had to take those pressures off. And in other situations where I'm able to, which is one of the reasons why I started my other businesses. It's like I want to have that responsibility. I like working with people that want to strive for more. And when we do, that's where we succeed. When we collaborate, we'll succeed. But when it's just in and out for information and just trying to um hold on to that and then not work together, just make a quick decision on basic information and not having the whole picture, things always end up being an issue. And that's always no fun.
Right. Right. Yeah. Um, have you ever made difficult decisions or sacrifices on your path to success?
Difficult decisions, yeah. I've had to fire people that I didn't want to. I've had to make decisions on doing things that we shouldn't have done. And as far as the company was, uh, the company was designed for, we shouldn't have been doing things, but the job made it where we had to make decisions that wouldn't have really made sense to me, but I had to be okay with it. So yeah, I've had to make those harder decisions, and they're never any fun, but you have to do them, and it's it's a difficult process. Again, it's something that you have to work through, and you have to be able to take care of it, and then go home and just let it go because it's part of the job, and
Right.
not take it personally, um, but do the best you can and then move on.
Yeah. 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 And that's hard. Like those decisions sometimes personally you don't want to make them. You don't feel comfortable with it, but that's what it is. That's what you have to do. The company, the protocols, whatever it is that you're following, they dictate what it is, and you just have to make those decisions and follow through with it. So no matter how difficult it is.
Yeah, they're not fun.
No. How do you measure progress towards your goals?
How do I measure progress? That's a tough thing. Um, if it depends on your goals. For me, my goals are very lofty. Now, before they were previously, they weren't as high as this. So measuring them, I haven't really set a lot of extra milestones. It's I need that's one of, I guess I'll say, a shortcoming right now. It's it's a process that you have to go through, where you have to have I'll call them stepping stones,
Mhm.
where you have to get to a point before you can move to another. In that journey, in that goal, when it comes to real estate, there has to be a way to get started, whether it's taking classes, getting a mentor, going through, for me, going through an actual real estate deal. And whether that for you is single family, small multifamily, or commercial multifamily, so anything 5 units or more, even there, that's going to change a lot, but especially depending on the size of the project, the size of the team. So it's you need to find out what your, like, if you want to call them KPIs, your key principal indicators, to how you would measure to yourself. I don't have any hard fast ones, so I'm not measuring it like that, and I probably should. It's just not something you've ever done. It's something that I need to do,
Okay.
but it's just something I haven't done.
Right.
And I'm not the best at doing that. I need help with that.
And
Let
that's
somebody
okay.
else keep those.
Right, right. And that's okay to need help, and just that realization and knowing that that's one thing that you need help with is a step in the right direction. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people will ignore that. They won't admit that even to themselves that they need help with some aspect of their goals or their processes just in general. So that's awesome to be able to know that. How important is goal setting in achieving success?
It's very important. You have to, if you don't know what your goal is, and by that your end goal that you're shooting for, then how are you going to know you're going in the right direction? So a short-term goal, getting a boat. For what purpose is gonna, I will always ask somebody, why do you want to get a boat? It's like, so depending on who you talk to, it's an asset, or most people will call it an asset, and it's not really an asset. And we'll kind of let that one lie for now. But it's it's on that line. It's like, okay, you want a boat, or you just start rattling things off that you want. That's what they are. They're wants.
Right.
They're not going to be goals. They're just wants. Just like the difference between a want and a need. And I didn't realize the difference till someone gave me a very good example. And that's something I'm going to keep a little personal at this point. But it's, the realization to it was profound, because a want is a want, and you will not need it to survive. A boat is not something you need to survive unless you're in a flood.
Right.
Then sure, you need something floating, or something hard and dry to be above the waterline.
Right.
But if you're living somewhere where it's a desert, don't think you need a boat.
Right.
But food, water, those are needs. So it's kind of an extreme,
Yeah.
but kind of proves my point, what a want versus a need.
I need, right.
And
Right.
that's
That's what a
where,
lot of people
when you want to go for a goal, You have to learn to separate the true wants from what you need to get to that goal.
Yeah.
So it's looking forward, looking and planning it out. You can't, you have to plan it out. And most people need to really search out help, and they don't get it. And they don't actually search out help. They just think they can do it on their own, and they're wrong.
Right.
So
Very
that's
cool.
why I have mentors that I follow, I watch. I don't necessarily talk to them on a daily basis or a weekly basis, because they're mentors. That's what your coach is for. So, and I have a coach that I reach out to now and again, and they're helpful.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It's, even though you don't talk to your mentors, you can pick up a book from somebody that is super successful, read it, and that they become your mentor because you're able to gain that information and have access to it at all times. And that is something that a lot of people don't consider. They think a mentor has to be somebody you're talking to or you're in contact regularly, and that's just not the case. A mentor can be just an author that you pick up a book and they open your mind.
Yeah. Or if you play sports, how many, maybe you look at it more as if you're playing sports, the guys that are top of the field, whether it's basketball or football or soccer or whichever sport it's in, maybe you might call them an idol, but maybe idol's the wrong term. An idol is more for a fan, where if you're a ball player, that's your role model, that's your mentor, because you want to strive to be like them. So when you're doing something in business, it doesn't matter what business that is, you're going to find somebody that does it, that's doing it better than you, and follow them and learn from them, learn what mistakes they made so you don't have to.
Right.
What paths did they take that just didn't work? And they're, if they have a book, there's books out there that James Maxwell, Napoleon Hill, those are just a couple. There's, Rod Cleve, Grant Cardone, Jake and Gino, when it comes to, Michael Blanc or any of those that have gone through it. But are they, they've definitely gone through it. They've definitely made strides.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to fit for everybody. So
right,
it all depends on who you want to follow, who matches the best for you. It's like not everybody's going to match 100%.
Yep.
I doubt anybody will match 100% ever. It'll be 98, 97% that you match, because there's always something that you'll see that you don't quite agree with that other person. That's
right.
fine.
Right.
That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
No. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean that you can't still learn from them just because that one thing that you don't agree with, they just have good information. So awesome. Have you ever faced any moments of self-doubt or imposter syndrome on your journey to success?
That's a loaded question, because if anybody ever says, no, I've never had any self-doubts, bullshit, liar. Everybody's got self-doubts. I've had them. Yeah, still have them. After 50 years. Yeah, turning 50 in a couple of weeks. But having self-doubt, that happens, sometimes more than I'd like, but you get through it. You go find what you don't know. Especially, that's why you find the questions. If you don't know something and you're doubting yourself, have somebody look at it. I did that with a purchase that I did recently. I was going through it and I was not 100% on what I wanted to do, and I threw it by someone. Ended up being my father for it, and he looked at it, we rolled it around, talked through it, and how I was doing it was the best way to do it. So it worked out. It was a good deal. So
Very good.
it's how you do it. You got to find somebody to always talk it through,
Right.
you know, especially if you're doubting something, because then you'll either find that it's not a good way to do it and find a better way.
Right. Very good. That's awesome. It's a good way to look at it. You know, is everybody has self-doubt no matter what. Just find somebody that you can talk through, and either you're right or you're wrong, and you can move forward from there. So,
But you have to be able to admit you're wrong.
right.
A lot of people can't do that.
Yeah.
A lot of people can't admit they're wrong on something, and they'll never apologize. They'll do it the way the other person says, but they'll never apologize for it. It's like, come on,
Right.
we're all adults here. This isn't grade school.
Yeah.
You know, you can admitting you're wrong doesn't diminish you.
No.
Actually, and a lot of people in our society think that it does.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you admitted you're wrong. Oh, you're weak. No, I'm stronger than you because I can admit when I'm wrong.
Right.
I don't have to play games anymore and say, oh no, it wasn't my fault because of X, Y, and Z, when even though it was your fault.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to pass the buck and play games.
Yep.
I don't like playing games.
About that is you open up to be able to learn even more when you can admit that you were wrong. You know, you open yourself up to gain even more knowledge from that. So
Yeah, exactly, because it's the way to grow. How else are you going to grow if you just put up roadblocks all the time? You're not learning.
nope, not at all.
Nope, that's no way to be.
Nope. So what advice would you give somebody who is just starting their journey towards success?
Ask questions. Find people and ask questions. Well, get the list down. Learn, you know, I've said it. It was said to me first, and I've said it to my kids when they got uppity. I've said it to junior people in companies that I worked for. And we were made with 2 ears, 2 eyes, and 1 mouth for a reason. It's like, you're gonna listen twice as much, watch twice as much, speak half as much.
Yeah.
You learn so much more that way. It's like, there are times that people are saying, ask questions. I'm like, most of the questions were already answered that I would have had, because I'm in a class, because I don't know what this is about. I'm here to learn. You're already teaching me. I don't have any questions yet. Let me digest the information.
Right.
Now I'll come up with questions if I have any.
Yeah.
Or I will ask you, am I doing, like I said before, like with that purchase, am I thinking of this in the proper way? Or what about doing it this way instead? And, you know, who knows where that conversation will lead to.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't know what you don't know. But if you go into a situation and think that you know everything, and then you're proven incorrect, that's okay. Learn from it. Don't be obstinate.
Right.
There's no reason to dig your heels into the situation and then just sit there with a pouting face and go, because you thought you were right, but you're wrong.
Yeah.
Again, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Just be okay with it.
Right.
You know, if you can't be okay with it, then you need to go to a different class to figure out how to be okay with it.
Yeah, that's a whole nother subject right there.
Oh yeah.
All right. Has success brought you fulfillment that you expected?
No,
No.
it hasn't.
Okay.
And by, if you mean success as in where I'm at currently in my current position with my current occupation, no, it hasn't. It really hasn't. Because I'm meeting my potential and I want to surpass it.
Okay.
So when I'm wanting to move to bigger and better things. So if I get comfortable there, is that the right place to be for what my purpose is? No, it's not. If I get comfortable doing that, I'm gonna just start doing circles, and then the circles are just gonna turn into a drain. And I don't want to do that.
No.
So it hasn't, my success has been great. I've pushed and worked for everything I have in the company I'm working for to get to this point. And I can't say I've done it alone. I haven't. I have a good employer too, but there are things there that if it was my company, I would be doing differently.
Right.
But it's their company, not mine. So I will follow what they want to do. I will give input when asked. I will make observations to them and let them handle it. That's what their business is for. I'm there to help it succeed. I'm not there to run it. Right. Because it's not mine.
Right.
So, and that's why I have to do what I'm doing.
Very good. That's powerful, to know you could do more, that you would change things, but because it's somebody else's company, you're still giving it your all. You're still giving them the quality of work that you would feel comfortable with doing on your own. That speaks to your character. That's huge. That's great.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm there for. I'm there to help them succeed. That's what my purpose is.
Right.
It's like I'm here to help people succeed with their businesses. That's why I want to do that with real estate. I want people to have success in their life. I want people to learn to have passive income so that they can go do the things they want, because real estate's is probably the best way to have sustained growth, sustained passive income on that level for an investment purpose. There are other things out there that, yeah, you can make a ton of money in the stock market, but it doesn't mean that, doesn't mean it's going to be successful, because Bitcoin, for example, was at, what was it, $60,000 a share? And now it's barely at 30. And earlier this year it was at 18 or 12. So, or any stocks like that, the stock market has bounced so much, unless you're day trading, in my opinion, unless you're day trading, you're not going to make money.
Right.
There are ways to do it, but you got to pay somebody to do it then.
Yeah.
Well, you're using your own money. What's less risk and still has a great return? Real estate. Yeah. Real estate has over its lifetime outperformed the stock market if you go per annum. It's like, it just has. Mm-hmm. The stock market just shows faster returns. Faster doesn't always mean better.
Right. Yeah, you have your ups and downs with faster. There's way more risk, way more uncertainty with it. So that's,
yeah. And it works for some people. That's fine. They can do that. I'm not going to tell them they're wrong, because they're not. That's how they want to do it. That's how they want to invest. That's fine. For me, it's real estate.
Yep. I agree with that. I feel like if I have that tangible item that I can touch and go see, whether it's here or not, like I can actually jump on a plane and go to a property and be like, okay, this is what I own. All right. I feel comfortable with this. So.
Right. Exactly. It's like, and with the stock market, oh, I got a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And, not that I would ever want it to happen again, but what happened in the Great Depression? All of that paper went worthless.
Yep.
Worthless. All of it. Garbage. Might as well use it. You can go use the paper still, but it's still not worth. It's worth more for one purpose than trying to buy something.
Yep.
So but no matter what, I'll still own that real estate. I'll still be able to go to that piece of real estate. I'll be able to go look at it. It'll be taken care of.
Yep. Very true. All right, final question here. How do you celebrate success? Do you have any rituals, practices to acknowledge or appreciate your achievement?
Yeah, definitely have to definitely have to celebrate the successes. Um, just closed on a real estate deal and 120 unit syndicated deal. It's a 506C classification for just for clarity. So if anybody doesn't know what that is when it comes to real estate investing, you can see my phone number, give me a call, we can have a conversation. But that property is an amazing asset. Class A, was built 2009. So that's a celebration that is going to happen. Don't know exactly what yet, but our team is definitely going to have a celebration for it. So, but that as soon as we get everything all squared away on our end, where all the transitions have happened from the old owners to us, so we'll have that. But yeah, no, the successes have to be celebrated. For me, I've started a weight loss journey. I plan on having successes through that. If I'll be probably getting more tattoos for those successes. I haven't exactly put them on paper what they're going to be yet for that, but it could be going out to dinner for the success. That's fine. For weight loss, that's kind of counterintuitive to do that, but she could still do it. I'm not. Probably won't. I know with my wife's successes that now I gotta figure out how to. She's looking at a big tattoo, and I'm gonna be like, oh boy, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be I can't wait. I honestly can't wait for her to get it. I really can't. So Tanya's gonna have a great piece to put on. But yeah, no, they have to be. And it doesn't matter what it is. It can be small, just go out in your backyard and stare up at the sky and do nothing for an hour. That's a celebration if that's what you choose. It's what you choose. But yeah, for me, it's going to be, for this real estate deal is probably we're going to get together and, have some type of dinner. It's for me losing weight, definitely, it's going to be something different. It's not always going to be ink, but, I've kicked myself back into gear on it. So haven't lost as much as I wanted at this point, but it's time to really kick that back in. I've lost a bunch, about 10 pounds, but it's time to get much more done. So I have a target date next year, April. So we're looking at about 6 months, and the the goal is huge. So I really need to get moving.
Okay. That's awesome. That's those rewards will definitely help with the onward journey, because it's going through it myself, just seeing the day-to-day grind that you go through, trying and working towards a goal. You have to stop and recognize yourself for those wins and stuff that you're going through. And I definitely am. I'm very proud of you with the real estate deal. That is huge success. That is awesome. And I look forward to picking your brain on the deal and how it all worked out and things like that in the near future. And just
that's going to be a good conversation. Because there was a lot of ups and downs with it. There's a lot of things I've already learned from it. Can't wait where you and I are going to be doing the business on that end, similar to this. So it'll be a good thing.
It will be
we'll get something done. We'll find one and put it in the books.
Yes, I look forward to it. I definitely look forward to it, Dan.
Me too.
Do you have anything else you'd like to talk about, or?
Oh, I guess not really. It wasn't, honestly, this is the first podcast I've been on, so I wasn't sure what to expect. So we really didn't prep for it. So Um, but it's, everybody's gonna have their own path
Right.
on what they're gonna do, what they're gonna think is success. What people need to understand is that they should be looking also at other people and not assuming that they're in the same situation that you're in.
Right.
Don't take it for granted that they're where they're at just out of daddy's money, or that maybe it is daddy's money, but unless you go and talk to them and find out, don't make that assumption.
Right.
It's like that's where our society has gotten to at this point, and it's like everybody's assuming everybody else is doing something, and it's not true. They're not thinking about someone else anymore.
Right.
Like I said, everybody's got a point of instant gratification because we're attached to a cell phone or something, almost 24/7 these days.
Yeah.
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 Like it would be nice to get back to a less connected society where the connected is less connected to a device and more connected to people.
Right.
We would be able to understand each other better, I think, at this point.
Right. I think a lot of people they're using it as a pacifier instead of using it as a tool to connect and to,
Yep.
like, I know that's a big shift that I've been going through the last probably 30 to 45 days, is transitioning from entertainment on all my devices to utilizing it for tools, meetings, calls, using it just for that, and that's it. And then I set it to the side, and I go about my day doing real life stuff that I have to do, and,
Yep.
and it's hard to shift out of that. So
Oh, so hard.
yeah.
You get sucked in so easily. It'll suck your life away if you let it.
Yes.
Like you're down on it. You say, "Oh, I'm going to sit down for 10 minutes," and all of a sudden you look up. It's 2-3 hours later.
Right. Oh man.
Uh-oh. I was supposed to go do something. I
Yeah.
don't remember what it was, but I was supposed to do something, and then once you remember, it's like,
Oh no, I gotta go. Yeah. Very true. Very true.
but yeah, I appreciate you putting me on. I appreciate you wanting to have the conversation. It's been a pleasure.
It has been. It has. I definitely look forward to speaking with you again, Dan.
You too. All right. Thanks,
Thanks.
Ben.
Bye.